Hey Crash, I wanted to put out a video from the gym here, kind of starting to talk about what this is going to look like when we're allowed to reopen. So there's a couple things. First of all, if you haven't really been paying as close attention as I have as to when I can reopen, what's allowed to reopen, when they're allowed, all the different guidelines they're putting out there. You know, I want to open up as soon as possible. From my point of view, like wearing masks, stuff like that while you work out would be terrible, so I'm not going to enforce any of that kind of stuff. But I want to get opened up, and should somebody, like a city official, stop by, I want them to feel comfortable that we're doing what they've outlined. You know, some various things like police aren't enforcing this. They're not the ones knocking on the doors, making sure people are following these guidelines. It's the city officials, the people that I've actually had somebody stop by once and make sure that, like, for example, our tax licenses are up. Those kind of people would be ones that would stop by, and initially they would warn, you know, if they think we're not doing what we should be doing, they'll warn us and give us warnings. At least from what I've read, the businesses that have been fined, like I saw an appliance factory was fined last month, a Hero's Pizza was fined last month. I think there was even one more recently. Oh, it was Sancho's Broken Arrow downtown, one of my least favorite places to ever play pool at. They were all fine, but they all had multiple warnings given to them to close, etc. There are several different government parties at play. There's the governors, who's basically said that as of the 1st, you could open up, and gyms, as long as there's 4 people or less, could hold classes. But unfortunately, we fall underneath the Tri-County Health Department. Essentially is a doctor that's been hired by Douglas County, Jefferson County, and Adams and Arapahoe County. I think are the 3 counties. And that doctor has recommended that those counties do not open until May 8th. So that supersedes what the governor has said. Now, if you've followed it all, Douglas County has ignored, or they're going against what the Tri-County Health Department has said, because the Tri-County Health Department is nothing more than a hired employee. It's not an elected official. Whatever, right? Now you have Brighton that's going against it. Mike Kaufman, the mayor of Aurora, he doesn't like it. There's a lot of these other smaller, either cities or regions or counties, that are not happy with what is being put out there, and especially since they're not an elected official, do they have the authority? Anyway, so there's lots going on, lots as far as when we reopen it. Can we reopen with like a gathering of less than 10 people? I think if we're outside, that's totally allowed, and I'm gonna try to play into that for like Saturday classes to allow for bigger classes. If it's inside, I think it has to be less than 4, at least initially. Maybe it'd be less than, I don't know what it's gonna be. But I'm starting to make plans for how this will look once we are allowed to reopen this to some extent. So I kind of wanted to give everybody an update. My hope is that May 9th is the latest we open to some capacity. That's a Saturday. Meaning the 10th, we'll get some regular classes. Now, class times, I'm not sure yet. If we can have up to 10, I'll probably space them out, or I'll probably do 8, you know, because they say gatherings less than 10. So assuming myself, the coach is here, that's one person. And then, you know, just to give or take, right? Maybe classes spaced out a little bit to allow one class to clean up fully and get out of the building before another class comes in, to keep it less than 10. If it's 4 people, maybe I might play the class times a little bit to where classes kind of bleed into each other, where one class is warming up while one class is finishing up, to kind of get more people in here. Because if it's only 4 people every hour, we're not going to be able to get very many people in here, and I want people to have the opportunity to get to the gym if they can get to the gym. So class times, class sizes are yet to be determined, depending on what the government tells us we can do. But some stuff that we can sort of plan for is the social distancing. So you'll see I got some X's on the floor. Each one of the mats on the floor here is 6 feet by 4 feet. So I have them all spaced out to where there's basically 4 mats. Let me see if I can angle it here. You'll see there's 4 mats around the X. So ideally you would stand on the X, or approximately near your X on the floor, and that's where you would have your barbell set up. All of them have at least 6 feet in front of it, and 6 feet behind it, and 4 feet to the right, and 4 feet to the left. Now, I've thought about maybe when we do classes in smaller settings that everybody faces this wall over here rather than facing the front. I think just for the way it feels With a barbell, I'd rather feel like the person next to me is over this way. If I'm standing on this X here, that they're over that way, it feels like you have more space. I've never felt like when somebody's in front of me, I don't feel as crowded, but if somebody's next to me too close, I feel really crowded with the barbell. So for the interim, we might face this wall over here. So you'll see that there's plenty of space. So if I'm standing here, there's 12 feet to this next X and 12 feet to that X. There is 8 feet straight forward and diagonally to that actually more to that X. More than 8 feet. This is 4 feet long, so it's actually more than 8 feet. So we easily, if people sit with the X's on the floor, you see them spaced out, you easily satisfy the 6 foot guidelines as far as somebody being around you. Now I understand when we go to the rig, because the workouts will have the rig, you're gonna get within 6 feet, right? But we're doing as good as we can. And with the X's here, I think we can easily get the bikes out, especially in smaller group settings, the bikes and the rowers, we can get those out and situate them to where they fit in your general area, and you're not biking right next to somebody or rowing right next to somebody. We'll get the bikes out, we'll move them around, the rowers move them around, so they are also equally distanced. Now the other thing I've done, and I did this before, and something we'll have to do as we go, but I have got more rags, like actual rags. Let me turn the radio down and make sure the thing gets published. So you'll see now on the med balls here, where the med balls at, there's only one basket. I bought this is like 200 rags, couple cleaning bottles. We'll keep the cleaning bottles full, plenty of rags to use, so we can have plenty of rags. Between, when you're done with your workout, you'll have to clean the barbell, wipe down the barbell. If we're on the rig, you have to wipe down the rig, because this virus supposedly lives on metal surfaces for up to 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, whatever the new findings are, right? We'll have to wipe those down. Rubber surfaces, stuff like that, doesn't live as long, so we're not going to worry about wiping on the plates, also because the way the plates stack, the moisture would stack in there and it would get really, really gross. So we won't worry about that. As far as where we put them, you'll put the rags, you'll put them in you can see we've been using them a little bit already. I've been using them, and they're in the green ones. So we'll put them back in with the dirty laundry in the bathrooms. We don't have a basket up front, or a basket with the med balls. We don't have a basket there anymore, just the clean ones. So again, once we open up, once we're allowed, I'm gonna keep putting some stuff out, but I wanted to put this video out, I'm gonna put it out on email and send it to all the active members. Just kind of what we're doing to kind of get ready for whenever we're allowed to reopen. I wanna get started immediately. Hopefully that starts with Terry's rowing marathon row on May 9th, on that Saturday. So if the Tri-County lifts this on the 8th, and they say you can have gatherings less than 10 outdoors, I would like to, and this is totally up to Terry, because I want Terry to feel comfortable, because obviously rowing a marathon, I want to support him, but ultimately he needs to do, or I want to do whatever I can to make him as comfortable as possible so he can complete his marathon row. But my thought is we would have the rowing outside, and we'd have the rowing outside, put up tents, and put the rowers far enough apart to where there's no chance that there's any more of a gathering of 10. Now, what's a gathering, right? Is the gathering this entire parking lot? Is a gathering under one tent? I don't know, but I think we could easily satisfy if we had 4 or 5 tents up with 1 or 2 rowers under each tent. You could easily have your teams of 4 rowing and keep less than 10 people gathering in a general area at the same time. But more to come on that as more comes out. Again, I can't give you any exact dates, times, classes, that kind of stuff, because I'm not sure what they're going to allow. What I'm thinking is if they only allow 4, we're going to have classes start every half hour. Again, we'll have people warming up on one side of the gym, since there's only 4 of you, and the other 4 would be over here on this side actually working out. And then when they're done, they'd clean up and head out, and kind of cycle people that way. We get more people that are allowed to work out, much smaller extent. If they're groups of 8, then we would have probably the classes spaced out a little bit, so we have enough time to clean out the class, clean up the gym, and get the one class out of the gym entirely before the next class comes in. Again, just thinking about the groups of 10 or less kind of thoughts. But I want to put out videos just to let you know that I want to open up as soon as possible. So when it does come, I'm just kind of giving you some ideas of kind of what to be thinking about, what it's going to look like when you come back to the gym when it's time. Oh, one last thing. I did get another couch, but kids would count towards the groups that we're talking about. So I know some of you cannot come to the gym without your children. In fact, there might be a time where I'm in that same boat. If my kids have to come with me, if I have to come here to coach and my kids have to be here, what I'm most likely to have them do is I'm gonna have them just hang out outside. At least they'll be outside. They won't be in the gym. They won't be counting towards the group of 10. But if you have a smaller, I'm fortunate because my youngest is 4, and my son and my daughter, who's 11 and 7, can keep an eye on him while he's outside, my 4-year-old. Now, obviously, if you have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, that's not something you can really do. So, I don't know, maybe we can work out a way that it's really nice out as it gets warmer and warmer. We can have this door open and they can be just hanging outside. I don't know. We could, if anything, maybe we can pull some mats outside and have you work. I want people to be able to come work out. So if you have that kind of situation, please let me know. Let's talk one-on-one. Let's try to figure something out. I'm sorry for the long video. Hopefully people watch it and kind of get an idea of what's coming. Just so when we're time to get up and running, we're ready to get up and running. Hopefully see everybody soon, Crush.